If you find yourself using find and replace in Confluence documents when you're making a copy, there might be a better way. Confluence supports a feature called variables. This allows you to populate text once and have it be copied to multiple different spots inside of a document. Let's take a look at how we can leverage this and templates to speed up document creation. Here we are in Confluence looking at a legal space. In this example, we're looking at a vendor agreement. In this vendor agreement, there are a couple different spots that we may want to populate, such as the client, the vendor, potentially some dates in here. If we edit this document, we can see that there's some placeholder values here for the client, as well as the vendor. Normally what you'd have to do is to come into the document and manually type in both the client, vendor, and all of these different placeholders that might exist. So example, we could use Vitafleet as our client. We could use Atlassian as our vendor, and we can have today's date as the date. Now, we'd have to scroll through the full document to see if we can find any other locations where we want to populate the client name or goods and services or what have you. Well, there's a better way. When you're looking at a template, you can actually input something called a variable. Variables are only supported inside of templates, which means we have to create either a template for the entire Confluence instance or for the dedicated space that we're interested in using the document with. Looking here at global templates in the Confluence administration section, we can create a new global template. Let's create a new vendor agreement. I'm going to copy and paste the content from the previous agreement just to demonstrate. To insert a variable, we're going to use the variable macro. We can find that in one of two places. We can either type /variable, and we can see the new variable macro comes up, or we can go into our insert elements and search for variable. This is going to add a new variable as well. So we can see we've got two side by side. I'm going to delete one of them because we don't need two at the moment. How this works is you come into the variable, you click it, and then the edit option. This will bring up a pop-up that will give us two different options on what we can populate. We can populate the variable name as well as the type of variable that it is. It can either be a plain text variable, a multi-line text variable, or a list variable where you give it a number of options to select from. If we select a text variable and rename our variable client and hit save, what we will see is that the variable comes here with the name client and the type text. Now, at any point in the document that we want to reuse this variable, we can simply copy it. And if we change right here, let's highlight client. And if I paste this in, we can see that it's inserted the variable directly into our text. Let's hit save and use this template somewhere in our documents. Coming to the legal space, I'm going to create a new document. We're going to go create page. And I'm going to use the all templates option down here to see if we can find our vendor agreement template. So let's use this template for this document. This brings up a different screen which informs us that this template actually is using variables. What this means is we need to populate these variables before we can continue with the creation of this document. So if I do the same thing where I insert Vitafleet, what we can see is that it's populating that text in every location that that variable exists. Now when I click create, what we can see is that the document has that text populated in both spots that we had selected. And that's the basics of variables. You can insert as many as you want inside of a document and have them populate as you fill them out at document creation time. I would recommend keeping all of the variables at the top of the page when you're creating your documents and your templates so that your users don't miss anything when they're hitting create. But otherwise, once you have them all listed and populated through your document, when they get filled, they get populated everywhere. Have fun inserting them into your templates to hopefully speed up document creation.